Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 44 of Patch Notes, the Home Games podcast. I'm Yazeed, and this is Joseph.
Hello, I am Joseph, and today is Tuesday, August 18th, 2020.
And our boy just turned 26.
Oh, I did. Hello. I'm 26 now.
Yeah, what's it like being an old man like me?
It's fine, being mid to late 20s, and it's a different feeling.
You're late mid-20s?
Yeah. I mean, well, what do you consider late 20s?
29.
See, Synovius had the same thing. I think like 27 to 29 is late 20s.
Yeah, see, here's the problem is that Synovia and I are turning 27, or already turned 27. I don't know how old Synovia is, but I'm turning 27, so...
You are the oldest of the group.
Okay, then I don't want to be in my late 20s, all right? Just don't put that on me.
I don't know. Being 26 is weird. Synovia and I were talking last night. It feels like such a blur. Like, time has become such this weird, fuzzy mess as everything goes on. And it's just like, holy fuck, how old am I now? And like, I truly forgot. Sometimes I don't know how old I am. And this is the kind of stuff where when I was a kid, I could not imagine when I asked my nana how old she was, and she'd have to think about it. And now someone asks me how old I am, I'm like, am I 26? Yeah.
Yeah, you're doing the mental math. You're like, born in this month and this year, so it's this month and this how old am I exactly? Yeah.
It's a weird feeling, but it's cool. Just time goes on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for everyone listening, we're going to try something slightly different. We're basically going to do a table of content at the front of the podcast and then kind of go into everything from there. Structure-wise, it's the same as I think the last two episodes, barring episode 42, which was a special episode. So just like begin the table of content section. This week, I'm going to talk about taking time off, an adventure, dinosaurs, and video games.
Yes, and for me, I have stuff that I did not write down, so that'll probably just come up. But for home game stuff, I fixed the Squish.js tests, so we can actually move forward with all that kind of stuff. And then kind of started work on multiple player IDs, so I can go back to my clicker game and kind of make it what it needs to be before I continue on the actual game implementation.
Right on.
But I'm going to go into more detail on that stuff later, but that's generally speaking what we're going to be talking about this episode.
That's right. Which is happening right now.
Yeah.
So what's up,
Smooth
Joseph?
transition.
What's happening? Yeah, we're working out the kinks a little bit. It's getting there.
I don't know. My birthday was cool. We kind of celebrated it on Sunday because my birthday fell on a Monday. So we spent Sunday mostly just watching movies that had single word titles. So we watched Grease, one of my favorite movies of all time. We watched Her, another one of my favorite movies of all time, and Airplane. You ever seen Airplane?
I can't say I have, no.
Leslie Nielsen, the white-haired guy from The Naked Gun. It's like a comedy, a lot of background humor.
Is that
jokes.
the one where there's a lady who freaks out and then they just take turns slapping the absolute tar out of her? Okay, yes. All right. I know some of the scenes. I've never seen the whole movie.
Yeah, I've seen it once before, and for whatever reason, I just felt the need to watch it on Sunday. It's a 40-year-old movie, which is kind of nuts to think about, and there's some kind of humor in there which maybe is not okay today, but I kind of don't care, so it's funny. But yeah, I enjoyed that. Her, obviously, still a fantastic movie, and Grease is just so fun to watch and listen to, and that soundtrack is classic. So it was a good Sunday, good birthday.
Now, why it was all single word titles as opposed to go down the alphabet, A to Z for 26,
That's good. I didn't think about that, but no, I don't know. It just kind of worked out that way. We also watched Hustle and Flow, but we didn't finish the movie. I don't know if you've ever seen Hustle and Flow with Terrence Howard. It's about a pimp who becomes a rapper and kind of that whole thing. But it's a really good, just interesting story. And the main guy says Maine all the time. So Synovia and I have been calling each other Maine the past couple days.
I really like the pet names you have for each other because you're two of the only people I know who just call each other Bob. Bob,
Yeah.
all the time. It really cracks me up, but I'm so used to it at this point. Like I don't even laugh anymore. I'm just like, nice.
Yeah. Well, we haven't called each other Bob in a long time. It started as Bob, but lately it's just Booby or Boob. We call each other Booby. And then lately it's been Boobay when you want to get the other person's attention. So yeah, it just evolves. But I think Boobay is the kind of end.
I'm interested to see if living in a home with just the two of you and a ton of plants is gonna really change the dynamic of like how you guys call each other, like what the meta of name calling is gonna be.
The meta.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. I think we've been on Booby for like a couple of years, so I'm pretty happy with it. It works. 2 syllables. It's quick. No one is named Booby, so no one's gonna be confused by this. Some people are named Bob. It's kind of weird. And then there was that phase when we were calling each other Robert, which is very definitely someone's name, so that's kind of a weird thing too.
Yeah, I wouldn't call anyone Robert.
Yeah, didn't work.
Nice. I ended up having it. Oh, I didn't have to, but I opted to take a week off of working on home game stuff. I just had a pretty packed weekend and kind of like the lead up to it. And one of those things was that my mom was like, listen, there's apparently this lake that's like out in a national forest that you can go to and hang out at. And I was like, cool. And she was like, all right, we're going to do that this Sunday. So at 5:00 in the morning on a Sunday, or this past Sunday, I had to wake up, take my dog out to do her business because it's a 2.5 hour car ride on the highway to get out there. It's like way past Sonoyta, Arizona. Mm-hmm. Like it's super far out there, deep into Coronado National Park or National Forest. And it was actually really nice. It was like a big lake. It was so much cooler. Like literally as I was driving out there, my car's like temperature gauge just kept dropping, and it started at like 90, and then like it went down to like 80, and then it went to like 72, and I was like, is it gonna be cold out there? Because I started getting cold like in the 70s, like low 70s. But it ended up being like pretty much perfect the whole day. And it's like a huge lake, like maybe that's like 5 or 6 miles across, like not across, but like around the perimeter of the lake, in like a really dense forest. And it was really nice. It was a really great time.
So you left at 5, got there at like 7:30, and then you and dog walked around the thing?
No, I woke up at 5 to take dog to do her business, then came back and showered and like packed up the car and left. So I only left at 6 about.
Got it.
So we got there like 8:30-ish.
Nice.
Yeah. But yeah, it was super cool. Like we went on a hike. My dog and I went on a hike, and it was her first like real hike, like out in the wilderness hike, and she was absolutely loving it. But so I don't know, man. Like I haven't hiked in a while, so I was like a little bit stiff afterwards. Like I think people who, I don't want to say like real hike because that's like just sounds like an elitist thing, but like people who only do like short hikes or like hikes that are mostly like flat or paved, they don't really like grasp like what it's like walking up and down, and like when the terrain is really rough to the point of like when you step and kind of like hit a rock and that rock gives and you had to like balance on like this like now teetering rock and like step with your other foot. I don't know. It sounds
dangerous.
It's like it's way more demanding physically. Yeah, like that's like one of those things. Like when you're hiking on like a difficult hike, it is more dangerous because it's not just like walking. It's more like you like plan ahead, like where are your feet gonna go, what's ahead of you, like all that stuff kind of has to come into play. But it was super nice. She loved it. And then I was telling Joe, I actually sent Joseph a picture of this, but I bought her a life vest, like a dog life vest, because we were planning on going out into the lake. And so I had my uncle hold her leash while we were there, and I put it on because the day before when I was trying to get her used to it, it took me literally 2 hours of running after her, like running after her to get this thing onto her so that she can at least get used to it a little bit, and like a lot of treats. And at the end of it all, she was pretty mad at me, so I ended up just like feeding her treats until she loved me again. It was a demanding thing, but she ended up getting it on like within 2 minutes, and we rented this like giant paddleboard for like 6 people plus a dog basically, and it was super cool because it was me and my mom and my uncle, aunt, and cousin and my dog, And yeah, it was super cool. Like the paddleboard was huge. I got to learn how to paddleboard. She swam.
I guess swam.
Yeah, she swam with much coaxing. She also drank lake water, which concerned me, but she seems okay.
She's a dog, right? They can handle pretty much whatever.
They can, but they can still get sick from it. Like they can still get like giardia and stuff like that. So like in an ideal world, she wouldn't have drank lake water, but my mom, my dog definitely like leaned over the side of the paddleboard and was taking licks of water. But my mom also was like, "Oh, this dog needs water," and she like cupped her hands and like gave her some, even though I had packed like my backpack with some water for her in her little collapsible water bowl. But yeah, it was really, really nice out there, like super fun. And they have like campsites and everything, so I think I want to go there more often.
Nice. How would you compare? So you said earlier there's a real hike. You and I have been hiking twice. Once in, I think so it was Discovery Park in Seattle, which is not really a hike. It's like basically a golf course / park, and there's some kind of pseudo hiking trail there. And then we went to, what was the hiking trail in Tucson?
We did Seven Falls in Sabino Canyon. That
was awesome, which I would guess that you would consider that one a real hike.
Yeah, that one's... I don't like the term like real hike. Like I think I would say like a hike of medium to high difficulty. I think like in that range is when hiking stops being like I'm just walking in nature and starts becoming like you have to figure out like how you're going to actually maneuver forward. Seven Falls is for sure a medium to hard hike for anyone, I think.
Yeah, I guess I would say that Discovery Park felt like there were guardrails. Like it felt like I couldn't really hurt myself because we were surrounded by people. Like there was a parking lot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't bad, but that one, Seven Falls, at a certain point when we kind of got far away from people and you realize you're just out there in the world, that's when it feels real. And then that reward when you get to the end and there's like a waterfall, it's so nice. Like that feeling is so cool.
Yeah, I think that is like I feel bad sometimes for people who don't experience that because it's like I think it's like a core human feeling almost, like that moment of like achievement, but also like I got all the way out here, like I'm exhausted, sore, like dirty, tired, hungry, thirsty, and now I gotta go and do all of this in reverse to get out of here.
Yeah, that was definitely not great. Also, it kind of took it away when there were like 17 people taking Instagram photos when we got to the waterfalls. It's like, oh fuck, this is not that special.
Well, yeah. So the lake that we went out there is no cell phone service. Period. Yeah. Zero. When I got out there, I couldn't find my mom because we came in two different cars because I live just far away from her. And I actually couldn't find them. That's why we went on a hike to find them. Because there's no cell phone service. There's no way of contacting each other unless you have radio, which we didn't plan out. So next time we go, I think we're going to meet in Sonoyta and then go the rest of the way together, like one after the other, so we don't lose each other anymore. You
should also probably get walkie-talkie something so you can talk out there.
That would be smart, but I don't know. There's something about just like being like only relying on your ability to like find people and like speak to them and like pre-plan all that stuff out so you can't like make mistakes. I don't know. I like that feeling of like when you're in a position where your choices are like to figure it out or like die. That one wasn't a figure it out or die because it's not like I would die out there probably, but it was definitely like I might have to spend the entire day here alone with my dog, which would have been way different than spending it with your family,
Yeah, I admire the bravery there, but also don't die. Maybe take steps to make sure that you don't die.
Well, yeah, I mean, like I train, practice, plan, and like I have all the gear. Like I have the gear to like stay out in the wilderness for like a night probably. So worst case scenario, I would have to spend a night out in a forest by a lake. But it's not like there's nobody out there. There were people that were camping out and stuff like that. So there's maybe like 100 people in like a 7 or 8 mile radius. So we ran into other people, but it was like pretty rare.
Okay, see, that's your idea of a good Sunday. My idea was watching Grease and eating too many tamales. So, we just gotta rebel each other out to make this work.
I don't know. I've never watched Grease, but I mean, if you like it, you like it.
Do you like musicals?
Yeah, like Les Mis. I like that one.
I've never seen that.
I don't think you would like it. You wouldn't like that one.
Yeah, it seems like a bummer.
Yeah, it's really sad.
Okay, yeah, then no. I've seen Hairspray and Grease.
Wait,
so
which
that's
one?
really Hairspray.
Oh! I've seen Hairspray.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fine. But to me, Grease is just so. I don't know. Something about it just captures like a mood. The way that John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John have this like chemistry together, and also the fact that John Travolta I think was in his mid-20s, and then Olivia Newton-John was almost 30 in that movie, and they're supposed to be high schoolers, and the music is kind of so memorable and impactful, and every scene is memorable and impactful, and just the characters themselves, like I said, because they're old and weird looking, and the whole kind of setting is strange. It's like, where are these people's parents type thing the entire time. But I love Grease. Like, I listen to their soundtrack, or to that soundtrack still,
Really? Wow.
I also watched it before we started high school, and it was like, man, high school is going to be like this, going to have leather jackets, and you're going to be beating up the like nerds and whatever. I don't know, but like, it wasn't like that at all, and it kind of bummed me out. But I got hyped for high school on Grease.
I got into leather jackets, but only in college.
Yeah, and you never went full on into it. You were supposed to get a motorcycle, leather jacket, what gun? I don't know what else.
I was gonna start smoking. Yeah. You know what? One of the funnier things about that is my grandfather used to be a greaser. Like, he wore the leather jacket with his sleeves rolled up, a slot of Marlboros tucked into his like rolled up T-shirt. Like, he was that guy when he was my age.
Do you have like a comb? You would just kind of like, nice.
He did the whole greaser thing. Like, he was a greaser in South Africa, awesome. Which is wild to me.
Yeah. Speaking of smoking, I think it's become like a once or twice a year occasion for me. But I smoked a cigar yesterday because it was my actual birthday.
Yeah.
Fuck, that sucked. I like the idea of smoking a cigar is so much cooler than actually smoking a cigar. Oh, so really? With a cigar, you're not supposed to inhale it, right? You're just supposed to like get the smoke in your mouth and taste it, and then breathe it out. But you're not supposed to inhale it.
Okay.
And so that technique is actually very hard if you're not used to that. And if you don't do it correctly, you're inhaling like a lot of tobacco. Tobacco, if you don't smoke it, messes with your body. It like gives you a stomach ache and a headache, and it makes you jittery, and it gives you like a buzz.
Oh.
But a cigar is like that much tobacco. So I was just trying to like keep it cool, keep it together. Zenobia had some wine. I had my cigar. We were just on the porch talking. We were having like a great conversation about, like life and stuff and all this kind of stuff. And I was trying to hold it together, but I was like, am I going to poop myself out here? I feel really bad. Like, I feel awful. I want to look cool though, because Snoopy's here and all this whatever stuff. It's like, oh my God, I felt like I was dying. I feel fine now, but I don't think I like cigars. I just like the idea of them.
That's very funny. I would have never thought they're difficult to smoke. I thought that you just hit them like a cigarette almost. I literally thought a cigar was just a big old cigarette.
Well, I also don't smoke cigarettes, so I don't know if there's a technique to it or whatever. But I don't know if you're supposed to inhale a cigarette. In Greece, Rizzo says you're not supposed to inhale unless you're used to it. But that implies that if you're used to it, you do. But I don't know. Any cigar smokers out there, tell me what I'm doing wrong. I also smoked it backwards. I didn't know which side to put my mouth on, so I did it reverse.
Aren't they tapered? Like,
they're so you have to cut a side of it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like the leaf is all rolled and kind of tightened onto one side. You're supposed to cut that side, and that's the side that your mouth goes on. I did it the reverse way, and I lit that part on fire. And once you make that decision, you can't really go back. So that was kind of the scenario there.
That's very funny. I've never wanted to smoke a cigar, but I think there's like a technique. I'd have to like watch a YouTube tutorial on like how to smoke a cigar properly. Seems like a little bit too much effort.
It's cool though. I mean, I say I didn't like the experience, and I really didn't, but I would do it again. My 27th birthday, I'll probably do it again. My wedding day or whatever. It's kind of a special occasion thing. I definitely couldn't do it every weekend or whatever.
Yeah. You wouldn't be the kind of guy who'd just, grab a cigar every night, unwind with a cigar on the porch.
See, that's the other thing I don't get. I don't get unwinding with a cigar because the tobacco gives you a buzz. It gives you like a rush. So I very much was not relaxed after that. It's kind of like I have to do something type
This man
thing.
was upped when he was trying to chill.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not the best move for a Monday night at like 8 p.m.
That's very funny.
Yeah.
Speaking of movies, though, I recently got into Jurassic Park again.
Like the original?
Yeah, like the original Jurassic Park. So because I own the book, right? It's one of the books that are on the shelf behind me, and I've yet to read it. It's the only book on the shelf that I haven't read, and I just don't have the mental strength to read a book while I'm at home. So instead, I've been listening to the audiobook for the first Jurassic Park. It's like 15 hours.
God. Is there a significant difference? I mean, I would guess there's a significant difference between the story of the movie and the book.
So, like, how familiar are you with the Jurassic Park series?
I saw Jurassic Park, and then I saw Jurassic World, but I haven't seen any others.
Okay, so basically, they took some of the coolest scenes from the book, and they kind of spread it out over all the movies. So in the first movie, right, so you have Robert Muldoon, like the game warden, and his like clever girl line where he gets eaten by a... Okay, so that all I assume all that stuff happens in this book, but I also know that Robert Muldoon is the one who tranquilizes a T-Rex in Jurassic Park, the novel, and in the first movie he doesn't even see or he drives away from the T-Rex but doesn't like shoot at it. And then in the second movie, Lost World, there's like another game hunter who tranquilizes the T-Rex. So they just kind of like move that onto him.
Okay.
And then in the third Jurassic Park, there's a scene with the Spinosaurus chasing them in a riverboat. And that's basically like a pull from the first Jurassic Park novel where Grant, like the Dr. Grant, and the two kids are on a little like dinghy basically, and the T-Rex comes after them, and apparently the T-Rex can swim in the novels, which you don't actually see in the books or in those movies. Sorry. So yeah, there's like basically like that's like the rough outline, and then like some like character differences. So like Ian Malcolm isn't a Jeff Goldblum, basically. Like, he's not a cool guy who has the silly laugh. Yeah, and the kids' ages are reversed. Like basically, the older brother is the young boy, and the young girl is his younger sister. So they kind of like swap those two. Yeah.
And how many novels are there?
2.
And is like the newer movies with the Rock is in the new one, right? The newer stuff.
What? No,
Wasn't
Chris
he
Pratt is.
How did I confuse those two people?
You think of Jumanji?
Well, Chris Pratt got buff though, but not the Rock. Anyway,
Yeah.
Chris Pratt. Okay, so those stories are those pulled from the original novels, or is that kind of a new thing?
I think that part of them is, yes. So I know at the end of Jurassic Park or Lost World, the second novel, the dinosaurs get loose on mainland world basically, and at the end of the last Jurassic Park movie, Fallen Kingdom, I think, is they get loose on the mainland U.S. So like all like that stuff's pulled from there. I don't know, like the story probably wouldn't be similar at all, but basically like some of this like cool scenes got moved around basically.
Got it.
But yeah, it's been pretty cool. I found there's a podcast for it, which I'm not going to listen to because like why would I listen to a podcast about Jurassic Park? There's only like 5 movies and 2 books that came out like before I was born. So, but there's like YouTubers and stuff who kind of break down some of the more interesting pieces. That's kind of cool.
Is it like an ongoing podcast, or is it a thing that just happened and it's done?
I think it's an ongoing podcast as of last year.
Okay. I guess when I hear a podcast, I just think it's like a weekly thing that goes forever, but I know people do seasons, people do other kind of stuff like that. So I guess I just have trouble understanding how you can make a podcast about content that doesn't change.
I don't know. I'll check it out. It's called, I think, the Jurassic Cast or something like that.
Great name.
Yeah. And I don't know. I think what they probably, if I had to guess without having seen the show, and then I'll compare after I've seen the show, is they talk about like characters and stuff like that. Because I mean, like, they follow through with like, oh, what are the differences between like Chris Pratt's character, the game hunter in the Jurassic Park Lost World, and then the Robert Muldoon, like if they were going to compare and contrast those guys, or like what happened to the T-Rex, or like there's going to be another movie coming out, it's like what's going to happen in that movie, like speculation, like what scenes from the books are they going to pull for that movie, basically. Those are the things I'm just straight up guessing. I have no idea.
Got it. Maybe it's like that podcast where those two guys watch Paul Blart Mall Cop and they just watch it and review it every time. And it's just a different type of, like, they're just mentally deteriorating as the show goes on.
JC told me about that, and I think that the only person I know who's mentally strong enough to do that is my brother. He loves that movie for some reason.
I would watch him do a weekly thing of just himself talking about what he thinks of Paul Blart Mall Cop. I would watch that.
He would, and it would be like 3.5 hours long every week. And it would probably start with "What's up, YouTube?" If I had to know my brother at all.
We need to get him on one of these episodes one of these days, because he has such an energy, you know, such a raw.
I'll talk to him about it. I'm sure he'd want to do it. He said that he likes the episodes that he does watch of ours.
Nice, cool. Well, I look forward to his presence on our show. We should do so real quick. Arizona coronavirus numbers are not great, but they're going down. So I imagine in the next couple months, tell me if you disagree. I don't want to make it uncomfortable. But in the next couple months, hopefully in my head by episode 50, but maybe that's optimistic, we could do this in person again, because there's a lot of the vibe is lost doing these remote.
Yeah.
So
I could definitely see us. I would love to do them in person again.
Yeah.
I was doing the math the other day, and I only talk to people 3 out of the 7 days of a week. So, you know, the more people I interact with regularly, the better.
Wow. That seems rough.
Yeah, this quarantine's hit me hard. Mentally, I'm not as strong as I pretend I am on the outside.
This podcast is a cry for help.
This podcast is one of those 3. So, you know, there's that. Nice. In person is ideal for me. Yeah, I would be down for that. I mean, the other thing too is like you and I are pretty heavily quarantined anyway, so.
Yeah, it's true. I guess it's just like we order food for delivery, and it's like, can I get it from a bag? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And then real quick, people have just been coming up to my door. I think people just look at like public record to see who bought a house recently or whatever, and they just start to sell you shit. And ADT's coming up like, hey, you want our security? But they're coming up at like 8 p.m. Just dudes walking up to my door, and it's just like, what the fuck? You know, like, go home.
That's why I got a screen door. That's why I got a security door, because I have to open the door. My dog won't let me not open the door. So I have to open the door, and then I have to interact with them, and I don't want to talk to them, so I can just be like, hey man, I'm whatever, and then close the door.
I think what I would call my first power move in this house about a week ago. Uh-huh. And so I was in here, I think, talking on the phone with my nana, and dudes came up to the door, just 2 of them came in some van, parked out front of the thing, and they just walked up to the door. And Synovia came in, and she was like, there's people at the door, like being like whispering and stuff, so they didn't know we were home. And at the time, I was wearing underwear, right? Like just underwear, because it's hot. And so the windows were open, and I can see these people. And I wasn't going to answer the door. And I told Synovia, like, don't let people make you uncomfortable in your own house. Like, this is our house. So I went and I just stood in front of the window while still on the phone talking to my nana, but I made sure that these dudes saw me and that I wasn't opening the door, but just like in the chonies, just being there visible. And I felt so free in that moment.
Yeah.
I just felt so
yeah, buddy. Join the underwear revolution, man. I love it. That's a power move for sure.
I think episode 44 is Underwear Revolution. But yeah, I guess I don't really have much that I've been doing this past week. I haven't played much or many video games. Synovia got me Ghost of Tsushima, that PlayStation 4 game. So pretty excited to try that. Haven't started it yet. I also got the book that you recommended. I got the first 3 books of the Culture series.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I read the prologue of the first book today during my lunch and was like, okay, there's a lot of words here, and this is science fiction. So I need to give this some time, so I put it away. But I did read the prologue, which was like 2 pages.
Nice.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because I really like the series, and I hope and pray that you will as well. So
have you read every book in the series?
No, there's like more than 4.
It's like 11.
Yeah, there's like too many. This bookshelf would have to have like another row for me just like with that series. No, I think I read the first 2 and I was like, this is pretty sick, and I've just never gone further than that.
Yeah. Well, I have the first 3, so I'll if I ever make it past the first 2, which keep in mind I haven't finished a book in 5 years. Mm-hmm. So if I ever do finish the first 2 and I get to the 3rd, I'll give you my review on if you should read it or not.
Thank you. Honestly, I'd love for you to just read the first one and then talk to me about it, because I really do think that this book series is like your ideal world.
Okay. I read like a synopsis of the story. I don't know the details or whatever, but just kind of like the overall thing. And my current thinking, this is the start of my book review, right? And I don't know anything about this book, but this will be fun to track over time. I think people need to struggle a little bit. And a world without struggle is a world without progress. That's my current thing.
Ooh, okay. I'd read the book because it's not like there's no struggle.
No, I don't think that's true. I just reading this like promise of like everything is provided. You don't need to worry about resources, and you don't have to worry about the effort required to get those resources. That seems like that idea does sound perfect, but it doesn't sound like my thing. But I don't. Anyway, I don't know. But I'll keep you updated on my book progress.
Okay. I'm pretty hyped for that. I'm really excited for it. I've been playing Fall Guys. I don't know if you've seen that, but a bunch of streamers are playing it.
It went from I have never heard of this thing to there's a trailer on Twitter to this is one of the biggest games of the year or whatever. So I don't know much about it.
You play it like a jelly bean with arms and legs, and you're supposed to run obstacle courses, and you're so like a toddler trying to maneuver. Like the game is so like pastel and like fun and playful, and your character moves and he like toddles, like he like as he moves, like he leans over to the side when he's like turning left. Like if you bump into other people, like one of you might fall over. Like it's so goofy and ridiculous, and you're supposed to run these like ninja warrior / like wipeout obstacle courses, and your guy's just so uncoordinated. It's hilarious.
And it's not frustrating? Like, is it just an animation thing, or is it actually controlling your guy?
No, I mean, like, you're controlling your dude. So, like, when you turn, if you try to make, like, a sharp turn, your character, like, leans over too far. It's just kind of silly. And if you bump into somebody, that's your fault. Like, you should probably not bump into people. But you can also, like, grab other people and, like, really mess up their day. You can drag them down to hell with you in your bubblegum slime colored, like your bubblegum colored slime hell. Yeah. It's so ridiculous. Like,
it's a multiplayer thing.
So you start with 60 people, and then like X number of people can complete this course basically at maximum. And it's like you just run courses until only one person's left.
Okay. So is everybody just spectating the person who survived?
No, most people just leave. You can opt to leave after your character gets killed, but yeah.
So it's like a battle royale.
A little bit. It's like a battle royale where instead of like directly fighting people, you can just kind of like subtly mess with them, like grab them when they're going to jump an obstacle or something, or you know, you just have to be faster than them on the obstacles. But the obstacles aren't even like that hard. It's like because your character is so uncoordinated, it's straight up just like, here's some slippery slope with some like bumpers on it. Don't bump into bumpers, or turn too quickly or bump into anyone else, or you'll slide all the way back down again. So it's most like a timing thing. I don't know. It's really silly.
Nice. I've seen the videos of it, and I think it just looks like fun. It just looks colorful and all that kind of stuff. So that's nice. But I didn't know much about it, so
it's great fun to play with. At least I have the most fun with it when I play with at least one other person, because then you have like a hype person when they die, or you can hype when you die.
A hyperwave.
Yeah, hyperwave. That's my rap name.
Yeah, you and I need to set some time up to play games together, because we haven't played anything since Warzone a couple of months ago.
Oh yeah,
and that was pretty shitty.
We should. Yeah. I think that this coming weekend we should play Among Us together.
Oh yeah, that's also still something from last week I got to play. But also, I just want to play Rainbow Six Vegas 2 again.
Oh yeah, pistols only, no messing
Pistols
around.
only on Villa on realistic. That's how you do it.
All right, we can do that too. I'm down. Listen, I'm down. I have really good memories of that. 4 o'clock in the morning. The sun's starting to rise. We barely finish it. We're hyped, but so tired.
Yeah. That's one thing. I've been wanting to stay up all night in this house, and I haven't done it yet. I've been going to bed before midnight, I think, every night. So I want to have one of those video game nights that I regret the next day. It's been too long.
If we're going to do it, it has to be on like a Saturday, because I have to wake up at 7 regardless. Tired I am. And then the other thing also was the Epic Games Store had the new Total War game Troy on sale for $0 if you could collected it in the first 24 hours.
Nice.
And so I downloaded it and I was playing it, and it's so much harder than the other ones, and it's so fun. So fun.
So I don't know anything about the Total War series, so tell me why this one is so much harder.
Okay, so real quick, I'll give you like what a regular Total War game is and then what this one is. So traditionally in a Total War game, there's two like levels, almost like two like views of the game. So one is a turn-based game, which is kind of like Civ, where you say like, I need to build this city built these units, this city built these buildings, like that kind of stuff.
Okay.
And then when two armies meet, or like you're besieging a city or someone's besieging one of your cities, you go down into like the tactical map, which is real-time strategy. So like as you like the time, it's not like turn-based, like you have to move your units and like charge the correct units at the right time, and like it's like really micro intensive of like, can you position your units to like beat your opponent, whether or not like you're at a severe disadvantage or not, and like can you use the terrain properly and all that stuff. In a regular Total War game, there's really like one resource you care about, and that's money. So like in the Rome one, it's denarii. In medieval, it's gold coins, and so on and so forth. But in Troy Total War, there's 4 or 5 resources you're supposed to collect. So like food becomes important, bronze becomes important, wood, stone, and gold, and it just makes it harder to maintain armies. It's like normally by turn turn 30, you'll have like 4 or 5 like full stack armies, like top of the line units, like completely decked out, like really strong guys, and you can pretty much like roll over the rest of the map at your leisure until you run into like the other superpowers on the map. This one, I only have like 1.25 armies, and I'm not even like properly feeding them. Like I'm losing food every turn. Like I'm desperately just trying to stay afloat, and I'm trying to like trade for other people's food with like the resources I have. So it's way more difficult and stuff. And also like just the gameplay is super different. So like in other Total War games, you just like recruit generals, or like your generals are like family members. Basically, like in medieval Total War, like your king is your dude, and like your king's sons are like your generals. And in this one, you pick one of the like heroes from the Iliad. So I picked Hector because he's my favorite character of any medium ever, and I'm just trying to unify Troy for the coming Greek invasion. So it's super cool. It's like I'm playing the Iliad as Hector. I'm loving it.
You're such a nerd.
I know. It's so much fun. I don't know.
That's cool though.
I don't know what to say. He's my favorite character because he dies, but he gave it his all, and I think that's important.
Yeah. So more resources to manage, and you don't. Do you think that it's just because it's so different? Like, do you think if you restarted the game, or I don't know how the progression works, but if you were to kind of start from scratch now, that you'd be better at it because you've learned more, or is it just hard? Okay.
It's just harder to get to what used to be endgame, right? So like traditionally in that game, like by turn 60, you know either whether or not you're gonna win or lose. Because if by turn 60 you aren't strong enough economically or militarily, you're just gonna get blasted by the AI into like oblivion, pretty much. In this game, I'm on turn 30 and I'm like teetering on a knife's edge of like, if I mess up diplomatically too much, or like if I can't get enough resources, or if I take a really bad battle, like that's it. Like if I lose a major battle and like most of my army gets wiped out, I lose because I don't have 15 other armies to just come by and like win it for me. So I don't know. That makes it harder, but also like the hero system makes it more like rewarding, and then like on top of it too, so like I'm playing as Hector, the AI has Paris. I don't know how familiar you are with the Iliad. Hector is like
not at all
the older brother, and then Paris is the younger brother who kidnaps / marries Helen of Sparta, right? So Paris is like the one who causes the Trojan War along with Helen, and then Hector is like the older brother who's like, shit, I'm supposed to run this kingdom, I gotta like fight all of Greece again? Jesus, okay, let's do this. But in this game, like, you're the father of both of them, King Priam of Troy. He's trying to decide which one of the brothers should lead the defense of Troy. And so, like, he gives you missions, and you have to keep doing these missions, but you can also, like, sabotage each other. So it's like, it becomes, like, a challenge of, like, if you're really strong and he's really weak, he's going to try to sabotage you. So you need it to be, like, kind of close, or you're going to get, like, wrecked a little bit. So it's kind of cool. And then I assume once you get to like the top level and like Priam chooses you, then you get all of like Troy as your faction, and some of your problems disappear. But until that point, I really don't know if I'm going to get to that point or not.
Yeah. So would you say overall that you're enjoying it, or kind of?
I love it.
Okay.
I love it.
I
didn't think I would, because it.
You like it more than the other games?
Maybe.
Nice.
Maybe. Okay, I'm biased because the Iliad is my favorite book, and I just love that setting and like that time period, and just like the spirit and the lore and all that stuff. I love it, and like I don't know, I like it a lot.
Nice.
I like it a little bit too much. I get to the point that when I'm supposed to be working, I'm actually just thinking about playing that game.
Yeah, I get that. Well, good. I'm glad you found a thing that you like. I don't think I've really had a game where I'm like, oh, this is it, for a long time. I think Last of Us is maybe the closest thing I've had to that, but it's not like I don't think about it during the day like that. So I'm trying to find that.
You gotta find your spark, man.
I'm trying to get excited about the clicker. So kind of going into the clicker that we're building, that me and JC are kind of building or whatever, that I talked about last week. I have been trying to think about how to make it interesting, and it's really been going into, I think we need to have the conversation on this show about what makes a game good, because I was thinking about a game that I would consider good that's not fun, and it's Red Dead Redemption 2. I think that game is very good, and I spent 80 hours playing it, and I beat it, and I don't think it's fun. And so it's like this thing of, I spent all this time trying to make my clicker fun, or thinking about how to make it fun, but I don't know if that makes it good. And so I think there's a distinction in my head of how that works, and I've been kind of just giving it thought over the past week of how I want it to look, because the thing I needed to work on before I could actually start implementing game stuff was the multiple player IDs thing that we talked about before. And in order to actually get that stuff working, I had to go back to Squish and update my pull request, because I had broken tests and I had broken the CI. That was all my fault. So I went and looked at your comments of what you had said previously on the pull request, and yeah, you were right. So I had to go and update package.json to basically point to your test stuff instead of my old broken ass test stuff. Your test stuff also had a bug in it where, oh no, it didn't. Anyway, there was a small issue I had to resolve with my tests. And then I went through and I kind of rewrote all of my tests to use all the new game node stuff, as well as your kind of magic test function that kind of just gets pulled in from somewhere. I could read the code, but somewhere. So yeah, that's really all I did this week. I was kind of just prepping Squish to get it to the point where I can start working on my clicker again. Mm-hmm. But yeah, the idea of like thinking about a game at work is kind of, I've been thinking about our game or my game at work in this way of like, what would make it cool to me? What would make me want to play it? Kind of a thing. Mm-hmm. And I don't really know yet. So I think once I kind of flesh this stuff out a little bit more and have more of a game here, then next week you and I can talk about maybe finally have the conversation to what makes a game good, and then kind of tie it together with Clicker or Click City.
Click City. I like it. Yeah. I would really like JC to be on that episode. I will do a lot to get JC on that episode.
So I was thinking about this too. JC said he doesn't like his audio setup, and I actually have my old mic. It's actually one of the ones the other one that I used for Synovia last week. Mm-hmm. So I could probably, anyway, we'll figure it out. There's stuff we can do, figure out how to get JC a proper audio recording setup.
Yeah, but I think that his insight would be really interesting to have, because I think that if it was just the two of us, we'd get lost in the weeds a little bit, and I think JC might pull us out a little bit more.
Oh, also we didn't mention Alex. I guess we just forgot. I don't know. He's not here this week, but we'll get him back. He's not like there's no beef between us, you know. He's just not.
No, you can't tell him that. You can't say that. Okay, you just have to let him go, and then when he comes back, we're like, "So Alex, why were you beefing with us?"
Call him Alexander to let him know it's real.
Yeah, Alexander Reed. I was gonna ask another question. Shoot. Yeah. What did you mean by the multiple player IDs? I don't actually remember.
Yeah, so that was this problem of a game node at the moment has this kind of magic logic where there's a player ID associated to a game node, and it's optional. And there's only space for one player ID. And it can either be nothing there, which means it's visible to everybody, or it's visible to only one person. Mm-hmm. And because of this, actually, you talked about kind of mixed views of the same game in the Total War stuff, like the city and then the actual RTS stuff, which is actually kind of not really the same, but the kind of shared view of the same game is kind of the thing. So in order to have that in a multiplayer game, I essentially need to have this ability to say, here's one view and another view, and some number of players can view this view at a time, and some number of players can view this. So I need to update the way that a game node stores a player ID to support a list as opposed to a single number. So that's a Squish level change in the engine, but in order to do that, I need to actually make it run first, which sucks. But, put in the work to make it run. That's what I did the past couple of days. So now I can actually update the logic to support new stuff.
Oh, okay. I remember. I understand. Yeah. Nice, man. I'm glad that one of us put in hours for home games this week. I'm sorry. I'll put in hours this week. I just
don't apologize for not working for free, dude. This is not. I'm just happy you do the podcast with me every week.
I am happy I do the podcast every week as well. But I mean, it's not like this is only your project. Home games is also mine as well.
Life is busy and difficult and whatever. I totally get it. But that's all I had for my actual main topics and stuff this week. Did you have anything else before we go on to Song of the Week?
Do you remember the Jurassic Park 1 movie really well? How well do you remember it?
So honestly, I've only seen Jurassic Park 1 once, and then I kind of half watched it on TV a couple weeks ago. It was just on. So I have a general knowledge of it. And you forgot to say the magic word.
It's a Unix system. Would you agree or disagree with the following sentence? Endgame, or right, at Marvel's, Avengers Endgame has better character development than Jurassic Park.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I can even point to, and this is my ignorance for sure, because I've only seen the Avengers movies, each of them maybe a couple times. I think only the first one a couple times. The other ones I've only seen once. And I missed some of the other stuff. And I guess there's like the whole world there where they all kind of develop in a sense, but I never got a sense that anybody was different. It's all just superhero bullshit, you know what I mean? Yeah. And I guess I don't care enough about Marvel characters to even notice that they're changing, to even notice a development.
Wow, okay.
So it's hard for me to answer. And I also don't know Jurassic Park that well to compare them.
Okay, because I was thinking about why I like Jurassic Park more than the Avengers movies, but originally I was like, like it's a great movie, like it was a defining movie for like not just like its era, but like redefined the use of special effects and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, and it has great character development. And I was like, only one character really changes and a bunch of characters die. So I don't know if I would really say that there's character development. So I'm trying to really pinpoint like what about that movie that I like, because I like adventure movies, but like I like Godzilla and I like King Kong and I like I like Jurassic Park and I like The Mummy. Like I don't know what it is about adventure movies that I really enjoy. It seems like usually like no or only one character develops at all. So,
well, like I think. Well, again, I think it might also be kind of difficult to compare because I've only seen the first Jurassic Park, and it's kind of difficult to compare just one movie to a series of movies, kind of a whole 21 movie thing. But from like The Mummy, for example, Brendan Fraser's character in that is very unique, and he kind of like pops. And then Imhotep's character is like a really good bad guy, and he's kind of a you remember things about them, and they're kind of unique in that way. And Jurassic Park, there's different characters as well, like Samuel L. Jackson's character, and that I remember because just a cigarette in his mouth and the kind of look he has, and
the haggard, I've been a software engineer for too long look, yeah. The one we're starting to cultivate.
Yeah. Or like Jeff Goldblum, right? Jeff Goldblum in anything is amazing because he has such a unique aura about him. Yeah. And again, this is me being maybe a bit too harsh on the Marvel movies, but I just see superheroes, and like I know Tony Stark obviously has an arc in that whole thing. He's a superhero. They're all just like dudes that fight, and then you don't think they're gonna win, then they win. It's like I don't care.
That's true. I don't know.
And you know how it's going to end.
Yeah.
Every time you know how it's going to end. So I don't know if it's about character development or just characters.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. I don't know why I would point to Jurassic Park and like, this movie is better than that movie, you know? I think maybe I need to have an answer to that before we get to the what makes the game fun question. And I'll work really hard this week to come up with an answer for it. Because I'm worried that if I can't answer this question, how do I define what makes a game fun?
Well, I don't know if you need to articulate why you like what you like. At the end of the day, it could just come down to you liking something. Like for Total War, if you like the Iliad, of course your opinion is like a subjective thing, and you're going to speak from your kind of your thing of what you like. So I don't know if you need to prove your opinions. You know, they're your opinions. You could think whatever. But at the same time, it's nice to kind of have an idea of why you think you have that opinion. But you don't need to go down to the nitty gritty and like particulars. Yeah, you don't need to do that. I'm
afraid the reason I like Jurassic Park more than I like Avengers is dinosaurs. And if that's the only reason, I'm in trouble because I'm not 12. I'm not like 7 anymore. That can't be a reason for me to be like, this movie is amazing and this movie is not as good. Like what?
Yeah. What makes a game good? Dinosaurs.
All I'm saying, all right, is listen. survival horror dinosaur game. I'm in 100%. I'll buy in on any game like that.
Isn't Dino Crisis kind of like that? It's like Resident Evil dinosaurs.
I've never heard of Dino Crisis, so I don't
It's an
really
old
into
series.
that.
Yeah, look that up. See if I don't know if it's a horror thing or more of just like a suspense. Because I mean, I don't know. Dinosaurs aren't super scary. They're just monsters.
But they're not.
I mean, they're real, but you know, they're kind of just monsters.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You should watch more Jurassic Parks. But you ready to move on to Song of the Week?
Yes, Song of the Week.
I think that's the cutoff of a song.
Yeah, probably. Either way, the silence was too long already.
Oh,
we kind of got to start talking now.
I was silent for 3 seconds. That's what my audacity says.
I try to play it in my head of like don't went, but I don't know, timing is off. But yeah, this week was kind of a different thing. Before we kind of go into Song of the Week, I wanted to talk about love, the whole theme of this and why it's different from the others. So typically we do Song of the Week, which is just I listened to music this week and this is the song I liked the most this week, and I'm going to talk about this song this week. It doesn't have to be a new song, doesn't have to be whatever, it's just the Song of the Week. Last week we decided we were going to do a theme for this week, which was Love Song of the Week. So Yazeed, how did you feel about the theme? How did you approach this differently? What did you think?
So I like the theme idea so far, right? I think that just picking like the number one song of the week gets difficult for me in some weeks because sometimes I just don't listen to that much music. Like this week, I'm not really listening to that much because I'm listening to like 15 hours of Jurassic Park, the audiobook. So, like the amount of hours I've listened to music is pretty reduced. So having like a theme or like a challenge to go off of, I don't know, it makes it kind of fun. But also it requires me to like go dig deep through all like my past songs and like find something.
So how did you do it? Did you just play your playlist and seek songs that you consider love songs?
No, I mean I had like when you said love songs, like a couple songs popped into my head, and then I listened through them, and I was like, these aren't really like the vibe I'm going for. And then I found the two that I found. I was like, it's gonna be between one of these two, and then I ended up just not being able to choose today, like which one I wanted to go with. Yeah, I don't know. I just when someone says like a category for songs, I usually just like think about it and like these songs like would maybe like I build like a set of songs that might fit it, and then I go through them and see what's up.
Okay, I see where you're coming from. I approach this in a different way, so or maybe kind of a similar way. So I was thinking love song of the week, but I don't want to seek anything. I don't want to change my habits at all. I'm going to find a song that I naturally came upon that I could also consider a love song.
Okay.
Because for me, seeking out a love song changes, instead of a thing that naturally flows into my life, which is just like listening to music, it became a separate thing of, do I look through my playlist for songs that I would consider love songs and kind of create a set list like you did, or would I go and find like a love song playlist and change my music listening habits to see if I could do something like that? And it was kind of a tricky thing. I think having a challenge every now and then is nice to switch it up, but I think it was too hard for me to have to like break my typical thing to kind of specifically answer this challenge, which is a love song of the week, especially because I don't listen to love songs much. So I found myself thinking, like, we watched Grease, and I was like, is You're the One That I Want a love song? Kind of is that kind of a thing, you know? And it's like there's a lot of lovey things in that movie and in that music, but is it a love song? And I don't know. So anyway, it kind of just like broke me.
You're the one who picked love songs.
No, I know, but I mean just challenges.
Oh,
just
I see. A song
challenge
challenge broke you.
Yeah, because if it was like aggressive murder song, I could pick one of those easily. I listen to that almost exclusively. Or if it's like fun party song, I have a bunch of those. Love song is the challenge for me, and I think that's kind of why, because it's just an easy challenge to think of. Love song, yeah, there's a bunch of them.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess it just didn't feel natural for me to seek love songs.
Would you want to do another challenge, or do you want to go back to regular song of the week?
I think we could do challenges sometimes, but I don't want to do challenges every week.
Okay.
Because sometimes it's like, yeah, that new Lil Keat album is nuts, and I want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I want to just talk about it, but we also have a song challenge, then Song of the Week becomes a 3-hour segment, and this podcast is off the rails.
It usually does, but it's just the two of us. But
yes.
Yeah, you're right. I see what you mean about like new, like 6 songs coming out, or like if I found something on my Discover Weekly that I was like, oh my god, I want to talk about this, but I couldn't because it wasn't fitting the vibe for the week.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I like this idea. Maybe,
but
like
I think
once every so many podcasts.
Like once a month, once every couple weeks, once every few, something like that. I don't know.
Maybe like once every. Let's do once every 5 podcasts, or
okay.
Once every 5 podcasts.
So how about the divisible by 5s?
Yeah, the divisible by 5. So 40.
Well, we'll do 50.
50.
I guess.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, technically, I guess this is 45, so that kind of worked out. But whatever. We'll do 50. That'll be the.
We consider this one 45. The next one's gonna be on 49.
Yeah, I don't like that. That's just confusing.
Okay.
With all that out of the way, did you want to start with your stuff?
Yeah, I can start. So, just to wrap up last week's songs of the week, Trippie Redd and Sunny 2.0 point spelled out Hello Kitty. I kind of vibe with this song a little bit.
Right.
I didn't think I would, and I feel like I shouldn't have, but
yeah.
I did. Like, I feel not gross. I feel sullied a little bit from liking that song, but I liked it.
So what did you think of the like the really high pitched part?
Okay.
In
any other song, I would have been really mad, but in this song, it works really well. I don't know what to say. Like, it feels like it was well put together. Like, it was composed well. The lyrics fit. The beat hits. Like, the ridiculous, crazy voice fits perfectly with this song. Like, it feels like one of those things where, like, Candyland is happening and you're just, like, in the zone with them. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if what I said made any sense, but yeah.
No, yeah, it's like a Candyland beat, but he's talking about smoking cat piss, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on in this song?
But it's that
so
voice
much.
that he does it in that makes it fit properly.
Yeah.
Like, imagine, like, if Killer Mike tried to do this song, it would be terrible. No one would like it. But that voice, the way he hit, like, the way he enunciates, it just fits right. I don't know.
Yeah. See, I think that's a big thing, is that there's so many different kind of subgenres of hip hop that it's hard to compare a Killer Mike to a Trippie Redd to, anyone else, kind of whatever, to a Benny the Butcher, something like that, because it's just so different, but it's all rap music. That's why genres are kind of stupid. It's like, what does rap music mean? But yeah, no, I'm not surprised that you liked this, because I think that it's such a good song, but I'm happy that you liked it.
Was this the one that Synovia really was mad at you for the first little bit, but then she liked it afterwards? Or did she just not like it at all?
I don't know if she liked it. I think it's just because, especially because she didn't hear the full song from start to back. She just kind of walked in the room when the high pitch hit. And if you don't follow the story along to that point and you just hear that, you're like, what the hell?
Yeah, you gotta, like, start the rabbit's hole, right? You can't get it. You can't be Alice in Wonderland halfway through. You gotta start the beginning and work your way through it all.
Yeah, you gotta follow the journey that is this song, that is Hello Kitty.
It really is a wild ride. If anyone's listening and it's like, what are these idiots talking about? I don't know. That song is just wild. It is.
Yeah, it's Did you add it to your playlist? Are you gonna hear it again, or is it kind of one of those?
Okay, I liked it on Spotify. Didn't add it to my playlist, so it's on my like songs or whatever that like the library or whatever they call it. But it's not in my playlist because I don't know. I don't know if this song came on, I'd be like, yeah. If I'm like coding and that song came on, I'd be like, time to take a break, you know?
Just vibe for a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was what I thought of Trippie Redd and Sunny 2.0. So my songs of the week for love songs is the first one, and this is the one that I think you will like more, is Absolutely Smitten by Dottie or Dodie. Dodie. Really fun. It's just a fun song. Has some great lines in it. Beautiful, like, texture in this song, I feel like. Stoned on You, I think, is gritty. It's like love, but like darker. I don't know if you're gonna like it as much, but Stoned on You is one of my favorite songs, and I think it fits a love song.
Would you consider? Yeah. So would you consider both of these kind of? Are they like love songs about a person, like in a traditional sense, or kind of more of an abstract love?
So both are about a person, but Absolutely Smitten, I think, is like High School Musical, like boy likes girl kind of song. And I think Stoned on You is like, I want to say like a more mature version of it, but it's a little bit more like depressed, maybe, like a little bit more realistic view on loving someone. Like the way that he describes it is like he gets stoned on that person, so it's like addictive, right? Like in that way. But at the same time, like some of the other lines in that song tell you like maybe it's not the best love, maybe it's like fleeting, or maybe it's not like great, but it is his love for this person, kind of.
Okay, interesting. I'll one thing also is on Song of the Week, if you had to pick one, I guess, like the one that is like, yes, my love song, is it
Absolutely Smitten is traditional love song, so I would go with that one. Okay. But I think Stoned on You is a little bit more of a mature version of it. So it's not like they wouldn't make a movie of Stoned on You, or if they would, it'd be like Stranger Than Fiction, the movie, instead of like, I don't know, Twilight. I don't actually know if Twilight's that great of a romance. I am really struggling. What's a good romance movie? It's not like The Notebook.
Wait. There you go.
The Notebook, isn't that a sad ending though? Don't they not end up together?
I've never seen The Notebook. I don't know.
Okay,
Grease. Like, Grease is a great love story.
Okay, is it?
No, because they change for each other at the end.
All right. I have one then. About Time. That movie. That's a great love story.
Is that the one with Justin Timberlake?
No.
What's the one where they have watches that has their life?
Oh, I know what you're thinking of. I don't know the name of that movie, but that's not a love story.
Okay, I was gonna say it kind of is a love story.
No. About Time's a movie where this guy can go backwards in time, and but only if he stands in a dark closet, closes his eyes, and clenches his fists.
Okay.
And he does it repeatedly to get the girl of his dreams to love him, and then like a bunch of other stuff happens, and in the end it's really sad, but it works out. The love story part of it works out, but the rest of the movie is really sad, and you should watch it because I think you'll really connect with the main character like I did.
Okay. Cool. Well, your song of the week last week was Flower in Your Pocket by The Arcs.
Yeah.
And I listened to this once, and I wish I listened to it again because there's kind of this vocal effect on the song, and it made it hard for me to understand what they were saying. So kind of just first listen, I caught just kind of the sound of it, and I wasn't super into it as it went on more. In the beginning, it set a mood, and I was like, oh, I can just kind of like sit down and just feel this song. Especially another thing, like I said last week, it depends on kind of what I'm listening to it on. So I listen to it with my headphones, and at the beginning of it, it's just in the right ear, and then it shifts over to your full thing. I love when songs do that. You hear different things in the different audio channels or whatever. And it was cool. And then when the words started, I couldn't really hear it very well or understand it very well. And then after a certain point, it just seemed to kind of be repetitive to the point where I just lost my attention on it because it just kind of drowned out and faded into the back. And I'm not sure if that's why you like it, because it kind of just fades into the back. That's why it's so interesting, because you and I find different things in different songs, but that's kind of why I was a little bit, I kind of, like I said, I liked it less as it kept going. Mm-hmm. But I would like to listen to it again, because I feel like there are words there that I should have heard.
There are definitely words that you should have heard. That I think the vocal effect was by choice. I think it's supposed to sound a little grainy, like it was recorded on like a 1970s toaster. Like I think that song really is supposed to like feel like it's an old song, like recorded on old equipment. And actually, it might have actually been recorded on old equipment. I don't know, but it's something that I know like some artists would do for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna like that song, but it the vibe that it establishes in the beginning is pretty much the vibe throughout.
Yeah, I actually was thinking this would have been great to have on, like, for the cigar last night. It's like a perfect, like, just have on, and just have sound in the back. But yeah, it was cool. I'll probably listen to it again. Maybe I'll give an update next week if I remember. So my song of the week. Like I said, I had difficulty thinking of my love song of the week, and I wanted it to be genuine. I wanted it to be something that I legitimately listened to this week, and something that I really did like, and it wasn't some sort of thing where I found a song that I wouldn't have listened to otherwise, and then talked about how much I liked it, because I maybe didn't, but it was just the best of what I found, right? So I was trying to find a song that was legitimately what I would consider a love song that I really wanted to talk about having heard. So I was just listening to my playlist, like I always do, my kind of go-to playlist that has hundreds of songs or whatever on it. And at the moment, I was kind of seeking a song, but not actively looking for something. I was just listening, hoping I can find a love theme in a song that I legitimately liked. Mm-hmm. And then Activist by Gucci Mane came on. Right, so this is a song where he's talking about prescription cough syrup as his thing, right? And so there's an Aaliyah song from 18 years ago where a part of it, I don't know if it's the chorus or not, but the line is, "At your best, you are loved," I believe. But they take the vocal sample from that song, they slow it down, and they kind of do some weird magic to make it sound like the words don't say what they originally said. Mm-hmm. So it kind of sounds like the sample is saying, "Activist, you are love." And so that's kind of the chorus. And then it's Gucci Mane talking like super slowed down, like super leaned out, just talking about Gucci Mane stuff, which is doing drugs and having sex and counting money or whatever. And technically, this is not a love song, but it's kind of a love song about lean. And so I thought this was my most genuine love song I could think of, because I love this song. And the chorus is literally "Activist, you are love." So it just seemed like the right move that this was my love song of the week. So maybe this is why I had difficulty. This is the kind of like my thought process. Like, this was my love song. You know what I mean?
I think you took a really genuine approach to it, in that you were like, I'm going to discover a song by like fate itself will provide me with the love song. But you had to really focus on every individual song and been like, is this the love song?
Well, some songs were obviously not love songs, but this one was.
Well, do you know the man, there's like an old like saying, there's like an old story about like the guy who gets an axe, or the guy's like, I want a happy he's like, I want a happy marriage or whatever. And so this like old man gives him an axe and is like, go out into the forest and cut the tallest tree. And so he like walks miles and miles, and he comes back with like a tiny tree, because he couldn't turn, like you can't turn back, like you can only go forward. And he only like he was kept like finding really tall trees, but being like, oh, maybe there's like one deeper. I think that was you. You kept going through your songs and being like, but is there a better love song in the cards for me this week?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, that kind of is what I do. I went through the Grease forest, and I was like, there's maybe 4 good love songs in here. And then I kind of went to this maybe R&B section of my playlist and was like, I like these songs. I'm not really into these songs. But then I found the Short Tree Gucci Mane Lean song and thought, yep, this is it. This is the one. I don't have to seek any more. So...
You know what's actually really funny is now that I'm sitting here and after this like long conversation, I'm realizing that All of You is probably the best love song.
The John Legend song? Yeah. It's a good song.
It's like that's like arguably the best love song, and it's like, whoops.
Yeah, but it's like, yeah, I mean, so right there, right? If we had both just thought of that song is also on my playlist. At the end of last week, we could have been like, oh, best love song, All of You by John Legend. I didn't even need to hear it this week. I just know that's my best love song.
Yeah.
But that's not love song of the week. That's just love song I like. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So like for me, it makes it difficult.
Yeah. Because
I need to have the real listening thing.
See, I don't know. I thought it was like, because I play my playlist on random, it's not like it's not like, there's a chance I would have listened to both of these songs last week, right? Or this week. In the interim between last episode and this episode, I would have, there's a possibility I would have listened to these 2. But I just kind of like have I don't know. When someone says like a word like describes a song, I'd be like, oh, like these songs probably fit that. And I just kind of like went through that list. I think it was only like 10 songs or something. And I was like, oh, one of these songs is going to be it. So I'm just listen to these 10 songs and pick the bests.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I think it works. I think it's a good way to mix it up every now and then. But I think for most of them, should probably just do regular like song of the week. But
yeah, okay, that works for me then. Do you have anything else for song of the week?
I do not. I do have rapid fire questions though.
All right, let's hit the rapid fire questions.
Also, I love that we call these rapid fire. And they're just questions. We don't do them quickly. We just
no, I think the only time we did them quickly was the first one where it was like tabs versus spaces and like just general like lame developer questions.
Yeah. So my first question was inspired by kind of just wanted to support local businesses lately, like
not the Olive Garden.
No, not Zenobia's favorite restaurant, the Olive Garden. Or like one of my favorite burger places is Whataburger, right? But I wanted to support local places, especially because whatever stuff is rough for them. So what are your 3 favorite local restaurants?
Man, that's really tough. How about you do your 3 first, and then I'll think about mine.
Okay. So mine, I did have time to think of these. So mine are Pat's Chili Dogs, which you can't really eat, so you will never know the experience, but Pat's Chili Dogs is amazing. St. Mary's Mexican Food, also amazing. They do a veggie burrito where they cook it with lard, but I don't know if you could, anyway. So St. Mary's Mexican Food, absolute favorite my Nana Mexican food, because my Nana makes the best Mexican food, obviously. And then Lucky Wishbone. Lucky Wishbone is a local chain or whatever, but they have chicken gizzards, which we had a whole conversation about what chicken gizzards are, but I love Lucky Wishbone. And they're all kind of actually very close to each other. St. Mary's and Pat's are actually right down the street from each other. And Lucky Wishbone is kind of everywhere, but Lucky Wishbone's the GOAT.
I actually also like Lucky Wishbone, specifically for their bread. Their bread is so good.
Yeah.
Their butter bread is amazing. I'm not going to add them to my list, though. Do food trucks count?
Yeah, as long as they're just here.
Okay.
In Tucson, by the way.
So there's a food truck that used to go to my work's office called Substance Burger, or a diner or whatever. And they, maybe they're just called Substance. Anyway, they do a Beyond Meat burger, and because that's a meatless burger, I can eat it, and so I love them for doing that. So that's really fun for me. So I like that. Probably EG's is my chain one. I really like some of the flavors of EG's, and like the tuna sandwich there is pretty good. And
you see they got rid of root beer? I think the flavor of the month for August is normally root beer, which always pissed me off because it's their worst flavor and it's my birthday month. But they changed it to peach berry this year.
Oh yeah, the peach berry one's pretty okay.
Yeah.
I don't like peaches or berries, but it's better than the root beer flavor.
It's not like peaches. Sure. Yeah, root beer's fucking trash. They shouldn't have never made that.
My favorite flavor is Lucky Lime for sure. 100% is Lucky Lime.
Watermelon's better, but I agree.
It's between those two, and also I don't know if it's a regular thing, but one year they did pineapple watermelon combo, and whew,
can't you just do that with? Can't you just get pina colada and?
Well, yeah, but that's coconut. I mean, like it was like pineapple watermelon together for this one flavor, and it was so good. And I don't think other people liked it. Shoot, I don't know. A
substance,
third one,
and then EG's
substance. Also, EG's good.
EG's didn't they just get recently purchased by something that make that? I think the owner said that they wanted to maybe take it national, which would be weird. I don't know. It'd be weird though if EG's was not a Tucson thing.
It would be kind of weird to like pop into like, you know, like you're in California and you're like, oh, what are you going to do? Like, I want to get an EG's. Like, what? I don't think it's as popular because, like, you know, it's a bajillion degrees here. So getting like a primarily iced drink is really nice.
It's an icy and okay sandwiches. Like, honestly, I don't think EG's needs to be everywhere.
No, you know? Yeah. I think it's uniquely Hell Desert territory.
Yeah.
Dang, dude.
You could just leave it at 2. That's all good. I just wanted to know. I guess I just wanted to shout out local businesses.
I mean, Prep and Pastry is up there. They're really good, and like Blue Willow is good too. I'm trying to think of like a sit down place that I really enjoy. Caruso's downtown. The Hub. Ooh, the Hub. I like the Hub.
It's an ice cream place, right?
Well, the Hub also does lunch or dinners.
Oh yeah. They do.
We ate there. That got ice cream on top of it, and
yeah,
that was great. I don't know. It's gonna be one of those ones, but I can't really like pick because I don't eat at them very often.
Yeah. Well, they got their shout out, so it's all good.
Yeah.
You don't need to pick a favorite.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So my next question, kind of rapid fire.
Okay.
What's the most important part of a pizza? The crust, the cheese, or the sauce? You have to pick one.
What do you mean by important? Let me answer that question.
Whatever you think that means.
Okay.
But of those 3, you have to pick the most important part of a pizza. The crust, the cheese, or the sauce.
Okay. So I'm going to take this question as without this ingredient, it wouldn't be a pizza. And
okay.
I've had pizzas with no sauce, and they're really good. Like a traditional margarita pizza won't have sauce. They'll just have the diced tomato. So sauce is off the menu. So cheese or crust. Okay, here's the dilemma, all right? Because I've had vegan pizza, and it's trash. And I can't tell if it's trash because the crust is garbo or if the cheese is garbo. I'm leaning more towards the cheese was the one that was garbo because it was not good. So I'm going to say that the cheese makes or breaks. Nah, you can't say the cheese makes or breaks the pizza because it doesn't make any sense. It has to be the crust. It's the crust. That's the most skill involved in making it. It's the crust. The crust makes or breaks the pizza.
Yeah, I think the crust, if you have a great crust and shitty toppings, it's still a pretty good pizza. I think if you have a bad crust and good toppings, it's a bad pizza.
I don't know because that vegan pizza was horrific, and if it was only the cheese that was causing that made a really okay pizza into just like dumpster fire territory. Like, borderline inedible. So I don't know, like a really horrible topping can ruin a pizza completely, but I think that the crust, in terms of like importance, because that's the one you have the most control over, you should put the most effort into.
You can also remove toppings. Like, it's how I eat pizzas. I take the toppings off and fold it into a taco and all this shit. So it's like, to me, you sound so disappointed in me.
I'm not disappointed in you. It's more like I know that you do this and so it works for you, but I could never. It's like a limitation on me as a human. Yeah, I don't like getting my hands dirty when I eat, so.
No, that totally makes sense. I'm not saying you should do this. I'm just saying when you're eating pizza and you're like, oh, gross, there's peppers on it or whatever, you can remove those. But you're like, oh, gross, this crust fucking sucks. You can't fix that.
That's true. Okay, fair enough. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm still going to argue if the whole cheese is garbo. Like, what are you supposed to do with that? Like, at that point, you're just going to eat, like, tomato, like, breadsticks, basically. Dude, which are okay, but, like...
Look up Lil Uzi Vert's Twitter. He was talking about how he only orders his pizza without cheese. And anybody who gets cheese on their pizza is wrong and they don't know what they're doing or whatever. But he even posted a picture of this pizza he ordered. It was basically that. It was a big round sauce breadstick.
Does he have meat on his pizza?
No, he got no toppings. It was just tomato sauce on
Yo, that's crazy person territory. That's not like, listen, if you put something on there, that's something, right? But that man just paid for what amounts to bread and tomato sauce, and that's not okay.
Okay, but like, there's not much difference between bread and tomato sauce and cheese.
Oh, there's a huge difference.
Okay.
Enormous. If you think, okay, look, micro-wise, right? So we're looking at this like purely scientific.
Sure.
Without the cheese, you basically are losing fat and protein. So you are only eating carbs. Mm-hmm. With the cheese
and sugar, there's sugar in the sauce.
Well, that's a carb. So like, right. So, but like, really, with the cheese adds 2 of the 3 primary macronutrients to a pizza. I think without cheese, it's not a pizza. It's bread with tomato sauce on it.
See, I agree with you, but I would also definitely eat the thing that Lil Uzi Vert eats.
I'd eat it, but I wouldn't call it a pizza. I'd be like, this is a large bread, it's like a bread bowl.
Shallow bread bowl.
Yeah, it's a shallow bread bowl for my tomato soup. Like, it's really what it's eating.
Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know. He has like a whole weird thing about not eating cheese, I guess. I don't know what it is, but
if he's lactose intolerant, it makes sense, but Jesus, there's better ways around it. They literally make a pill for you. Just eat the pill like I do.
Yeah. Also, real quick about vegan cheese. Have you ever been to a Boat Burger? I don't know how you say it, but it's Beaut burger. They do vegan burgers here in town. And I had a burger from there once. And they do vegan cheese, obviously, and it was actually super good. Their burger was really, really good. And I've had shitty vegan cheese before. It's all nut-based and cashew paste bullshit. This was actually really good. So try that place out.
That's my heart. Well, there's a vegetarian place in town that makes all their patties with, like, fruits and vegetables. Like, they have a jackfruit burger that apparently is dynamic. But,
what is a dynamic jackfruit burger? Describe to me how it is dynamic.
I don't know. I've never eaten there. I've heard it's really, really good, though. Like, it changes you as a person to eat there. But
okay.
I've yet to eat there. It's on my list of places I would like to eat at. I've just never been. I think it's called, like, Tamarind or Tamarindo. Something like this.
Like the sweet Mexican paste stuff.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I don't know. Vegan cheese is hit or miss. I've definitely had bad ones, and I've had okay ones, but I've never had great ones, you know?
Yeah.
I think cheese is good.
No doubt. I wouldn't seek vegan food unless I'm with vegan people, you know, but like, you know, when it's good, it's okay. But I wouldn't go and get a vegan burger instead of Divine Bovine Burger, for example. That place is great.
I see. Did I tell you about the spicy sausage, Italian sausage from Beyond Meat that I got?
I think you did.
Did I tell you what I did to it?
Maybe not. I don't know.
I cooked it with the casing on, and that was a mistake.
What's the casing made of?
Cellulose paper.
Oh, so it's not supposed to be edible?
No, it's edible. It's just basically just like incredibly dense fiber. It's basically like a fibrous wrapper around this thing. And boy, howdy, who did that? When I ate that, I was like, whoa, I don't know if I can eat the rest of this. And then I was like, why is there like a clear plastic wrapper around this? And the rest wasn't plastic. and I'm an idiot because so many people told me to take the casing off the sausage before you cook it, and like the animal I am didn't take any advice and just plowed on.
And you can't take it off after you cook it?
Oh, I took it off after I cooked it, but it was hot. It hurts to take
Got
it
it.
after you cook it.
Okay. Yeah, I think you told me about the sausage, but I don't remember about the casing. But that sounds
whoops. That's
not
the
great.
big story. Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna learn how to make meatballs with my patty, not patty, but like the ground beef equivalent of an Impossible Burger.
Yeah,
should be interesting.
We bought the Beyond Meat, like just a hamburger, whatever stuff, thinking that we would make it. And in my head, I was like, oh, it's fake. It's gonna expire forever from now. But it still expired in like 3 weeks or 2 weeks or something, and it went bad in the fridge, and I never made it. But I would be willing to try it again. You
can put it in the freezer like regular meat.
Yeah, I know. We didn't think about it like that. It was like, oh, we just bought it, put it in the fridge, thinking that we're gonna make this soonish, and it just didn't happen. Yeah.
I gotta thaw mine because mine was in the freezer for 2 weeks now. So.
No.
All right. Do you have anything else you want to throw in here?
No, that's all I had.
Alrighty. As usual, shout outs to all of our music was made by Tynan or at Nitan on Bandcamp. You can catch us on Twitter at homegames.io, all one word, or our website of homegames.io. I think that's all the shout outs, and we will see you next week.
Thank you for listening.